And about the only thing that Larry Dixon, Del Worsham, and myself are missing is an open fire here to try to stay warm. But we had a little time to do some reminiscing about, well, perhaps the last time we went racing when it was this cold. It was Topeka a number of years ago. We had a rain out. We went back. It was a race that was cold at the start. It finished at 2 a.m. What do you guys remember about racing then?
I remember definitely, I decided if they're going to race funny, I was already knocked out of the show, but if they're going to race funny cars that late at night in top fuel, I was definitely going to go watch it. So, so we went up in the stands, we got a blanket, and we went and watched the show, and it turned out to be, surprisingly, it turned out to be a pretty good show.
I just remember, I know I wasn't in it, so I was watching the same as Dell, but Caps, he was my teammate at the time, and he was in the final, ended up breaking a crankshaft and hurting some parts. Didn't have as good a day as he would have liked, but certainly better than ours.
Well, you guys are both certainly having a great day today on opposite sides of the ladder, heading to the semifinals, whenever that's going to be. Do you hate the breaks and the momentum like this, especially when both of your cars are running so good?
It's a good problem to have. We could be loading up and going home right now. So, no, we're, I mean, you can't get mad at the weather. You just got to wait it out.
I know you're chomping at the bit. You absolutely want to finish this thing like right now.
It's a bummer, you know. I mean, car is running great, you know, and we made those 2 great runs, and I felt like we definitely had a little momentum built up there, and whenever the weather gets better and we can go out there and race, I'd rather race safe, though, you know, and it's so cold and so wet here right now. I do believe a safe racetrack takes precedent at this point.
Yeah, and when you're running on such a mean like we are this weekend, you know the motor's got to be hepped up because the starting line's going to be tricky. What's the pucker factor like for you in a race car when you know you're going to be hauling the mail?
You just drive by the seat of your pants. I mean, your rear end, you talk pucker factor, your rear end will tell you what to do, and you just go out there and do it and hope you do it better than whoever you're running.
Dell?
Yeah, I mean,
especially when you're going 376.
I know, it's crazy. Car shook all weekend, you know, and made me nervous, and then today it's been out there just smooth as it could be. So the team, Brian and Alan and everybody over there at Alanabi, they've done just an amazing job, and I'm pretty lucky to be the guy driving that car right now.
You know, you talk about pucker factor. You've had a couple of puckering moments here back in Funny Car. We're taking a look at some of those now, 2001, 2003. Yikes.
Yeah. You know, those things happen, and whipping on down there, especially, you know, the second one in 2003, we were actually racing, and we won the round and had to come back and run the next round, and it was pretty ugly, but, you know, I'm here to talk about it, so.
And I remember you getting out of that car at the far end. How long did it take you to kind of get back on terra firma, so to speak?
It did. You know, my dad grabbed me right away and threw me in the tow vehicle so no one could see, you know, because there was one point I actually fell down out there, and took some aspirin and a little bit of time to kind of get my thoughts again, but by the time I made the next run, I felt pretty good.
Did you have to have a new helmet? Because, I mean, you look back at our video, you can almost hear your head.
Right.
Like a pinball.
I used the same one, and but we did get some better padding after that, and, you know, we went to the improved padding on the sides of the roll bar, and I feel better today now driving than I did then.
Well, Larry, you're going for 3 in a row here at Reading. How difficult, I mean, I know you talk about how difficult it is to win a race. Mm-hmm. How difficult is it to win it 3 consecutive years in a row?
We're still in position to do that. Obviously, still with the team that did it, you know, Alan Johnson and Shake Cal and the whole Alanabi team. So I would go out there and, you know, got a tough customer in the 3rd round, and, you know, if things go our way, you know, hopefully we can, you know, arm wrestle for it for the final round.
Well, I got to ask a little bit about the championship. Obviously, this is race 3 of the countdown. You guys are still alive in today's racing action, very much a part of this countdown. Del, as strong a start as you had, did you feel like some of us maybe kind of forgot what you had done and were capable of doing?
Oh, I mean, drag racing, you're definitely only as good as your last run. You know, we always say that, and you hate to say it, but we had a couple races that just didn't go very well for us. They just happened to be at the wrong time. So I kind of felt it slipping away a little bit there. But this team, you know, they're tough, and I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we won Seattle, so, you know, we just had to come back and rebound.
You're the defending champion, so you've been in this situation before. How are you feeling about your opportunity to repeat?
We got a shot at it. I mean, that's what the count. If it wasn't for the countdown, I don't know that we would have. But, you know, it tightened the pack all up, and at that point, it's you're in charge of your own destiny. If you go out there, fire shots, win the rounds. I mean, gosh, we've seen Robert Height do a few years ago, go from 10th place to 1st place and win the whole thing. So anybody can win it. So it's up to us to do it, and you know, we still can. We just got to go out there and do it. You know, we're running out of rounds.
Well, we got one final question I want to ask you, Larry, because I I know you can address this. When you're doing an interview like this in the front of a pit, you can get some fans. You guys, we can hear you, right? I know one of them asked me, he says, how do I get a job for these guys? Tell them how to get a job in drag racing. You did it.
It took me a couple years really to get on a team. At the time my dad raced, I mean, I had his name, but that's all I had. So it took a couple years before I could talk somebody into it, and actually ended up being the Larry Minor team. And I really started out as the grunt. I mean, I didn't even get to work on the car. I was just washing parts and cleaning, polishing wheels on the trucks and trailers and stuff, and kind of worked my way up from that, and went to work for Snakes, and things revolved from there. But yeah, I mean, if you want it bad enough, you can get in.
You have a history of Robert Height, right?
I do. Robert Height, actually, I believe the first car he worked on, was Roger Prim's car, and I drove it, and we hired Robert basically off the ropes, and he had been hanging out and wanted a job real bad, so we hired Robert, and turned out to be, he was a great mechanic, turned out to be a great friend, and obviously he's a great racer today, and yeah, I do.
Well, that's how you get a job. Just listen to what these guys are telling you. Well, when we get back to racing, it's going to be that man taking on David Grubnick on one side of the ladder. This man taking on Spencer Massey. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great, safe race when we get back on the track.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Let's check in with the stat guy, Lewis Bloom.
Thank you, Dave. Well, Del Worsham looking to possibly hold a national record for the first time in his career. But here's the stat. The last person other than Larry Dixon or Tony Schumacher to hold the ET record in Top Fuel, you have to go back to Kenny Bernstein in 2001. And Mike Dunn, listen to this. That was that really cold Joliet race. He ran 4:47. You left with the national speed record.
Yeah, I was able to back it up, even though it wasn't the fastest speed of the weekend in that Yankee car, and that was just anytime you can set a national record, that is a great feeling.
Well, since you got to meet Del Worsham's crew, we have to give equal time to Larry Dixon. Here